Hey everybody, welcome to another Crack-A-Pack Tuesday on the Mana League. I'm John as always, and we've got yet another pack of dragons here. We've got Sarkin on the cover. Maybe he's inside, who knows, but we'll crack this open and see what we've got and see what we would pick first. Well, first up, we've got a Magmatic Chasm. This is one in a red sorcery that I famously completely misread in the set review. Creatures without flying can't block this turn, so anything that doesn't have flying can't block. Your flyers, your ground guys get to just storm right over your opponent's ground guys. The only thing going to stop them is going to be the dragons and things like that. Not a great card. You know, the set is flyer heavy for sure, but in draft I haven't seen flyers having quite as big an impact as they did in pre-release in sealed. Which, of course, was wonky because you had so many packs of dragons compared to the number of packs of Fate. Or pack of Fate, rather. So I just don't think this is a great card. It's totally not first pickable anyways. Next up, we have Center Soul. This is an okay card. It's 1 and a white for an instant. Target creature you control gains protection from a color of your choice until end of turn. And rebound, so you get to do it again next turn. Paying 2 for a pro color of your choice is pretty good. It's always kind of okay. It's a great combat trick. I say combat trick, I mean instant. You typically will use this to prevent burn damage from happening or a removal spell from happening or something like that. The rebound gets a little bit more interesting because you're not going to be saving your creature on the rebound ever, because your opponent, if they're in any way intelligent, would use the removal spell in response to this being recast. What you're going to use it for the second time around is to try to get damage through. If your opponent only has green creatures down, you give it pro green, your creature gets to attack in for free. Totally okay card. I hope not first pickable in this pack. We've had some weak packs. But yeah, not first pickable, but totally fine. Next up is Coat with Venom. This is a single black for actually a combat trick, or normally a combat trick. Target creature gets +1/+2 and gains death touch until end of turn. This card's been pretty good to me. I've been fairly happy with it in most cases. It really comes down to that single black. It's so cheap, and your opponent is never really going to think, oh, you're leaving up mana for a Coat with Venom. You may have just had an extra mana. The +2 tends to help your creature survive in almost all cases. The death touch always gets whatever it's hitting. I really like this card. Again, I hope not first pickable, but solid combat trick. Next up, we have Kolaghan Stormsinger. This is a card I don't like. Single red for a 1/1. We don't play those normally. It does have, it has haste, but it does have Megamorph, meaning if you pay 3 and then you pay another 1, it becomes a 2/2. So we're looking at a 2/2 for essentially 4, although when it actually happens, it's 1. And when it flips up, you get to give something else haste until end of turn. Very narrow, unfortunately. Very, very narrow. This card I've never really seen do much use at all. I just don't want to play a card that's as low impact as this. Next up, we have Pinion Feast. This is a 4 and a green instant. Destroy target creature with flying, bolster 2. It's pretty expensive for destroy target creature with flying. Normally green gets that for a fair bit cheaper. The bolster 2, of course, needs to ratchet up the cost a little bit. I still don't quite know where I come down on if flyer removal is main deckable or not in this set. It does feel like the number of flyers has come down a little bit from back at pre-release, but I don't quite know where this sits. I need to play with this more to know if it's main deckable or not. I can tell you, though, it's not first pickable, though, so we're going to pass on that. Next up is Palace Familiar. This is a 1 and a blue 1/1 flyer. When it dies, you get a card. Totally solid. Fine card. Totally great. Because of exploit, of course. You want to exploit this guy, get a card, plus whatever the exploit trigger was. Great card. However, it's a great card in a specific deck, which means you don't first pick Palace Familiar and say, aha, I'm going to be the exploit deck, because you may just not see the exploit cards. So I would never advise first picking this, but I would advise picking it relatively highly once you've got some exploit cards under your belt. Fine card, just not first pickable. Next up, we have Evolving Wilds. I hope you're never in a pack where you want to first pick this, but I do like it. Even in a 2-color format, I like it. It helps you fix your mana. It helps you always get whatever it is that you need. Totally fine card in a 2-color deck. amazing card in a 3-color deck, or as you will typically do in this format, not a 3-color deck, but rather splashing for a card, a bomb of some sort or something like that. Totally fine pickup. You'll know if you need it or want it, and you'll take it where it should be. Ideally not first pickable, because who knows where you are yet. Next up, we have good old Summit Prowler, back from cons, 2 red for a 4/3. Nothing else going on. I liked him originally in cons, and he never really lived up to the way I liked him. And I thought maybe I'd like him again this time. And again, he's never really lived up. So I don't like him. I'm not going to pick him very highly. Probably not even going to play him usually in red. If you need a 4/3 for 4, he's there. But ideally you don't. Ideally you have everything you need. Next up, we have Naturalize. This, of course, is not remotely first pickable. This is solid sideboard card. 1 and a green, destroy target artifact or enchantment. You're going to side this in if you see a Citadel Siege, a Palace Siege, maybe one of the other sieges, but probably not. There's not really any artifacts that are going to cause many problems, so yeah, just, you'll pick this up if you're in green and there's nothing else for you and you're never going to main deck it. Next up, we have a good exploit card, as we've talked about, Silumgar Butcher, 4 and a black. Exploit. When Silumgar Butcher exploits a creature, target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn, and it's a 3/3 itself. I've never been a huge fan of the -3/-3. It's great, but it never is awesome for me. I always don't quite seem to get exactly what I want out of it. It's totally okay. I just can't quite place it. Maybe it's the 5 cost. Something is keeping this back ever so slightly for me. So I don't think I'd first pick it, but I am still playing it, perhaps more regularly than I should. So I don't know where I'm coming down on it, but that's my statement for Silumgar Butcher for the moment. Next up, we have Virulent Plague. This is a 2 and a black enchantment. Creature tokens get -2/-2. You're not going to play this. You're not going to draft this. This doesn't really fit in this format. There's not really a dedicated tokens draft deck out there. I have a feeling this might be for some Eldrazi spawn in Standard coming up in Battle for Zendikar, but not something you're going to take here. Well, next up we have Dragon Hunter. Very solid white card. It's a 2/1 for 1 with pro dragons, and it can block dragons as though it had reach. I would totally first pick this if need be, if the rare wasn't that good, and go into some sort of white weenie or white aggressive deck. Next up, we have Stormwind Rig. This is a 2-mana artifact. Equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach Storm Rider Rig to it, and the equip cost is 2. Way too cute and way too low impact to really take this or play it. And then finally, our rare is Descent of the Dragons, 4 red to destroy any number of target creatures for each creature destroyed. This way, its controller puts a 4/4 red dragon creature onto the battle with flying onto the battlefield. Far too expensive for what it does, and I just don't like it. It's not solid enough for me. Definitely not first pickable. I might take it if I was in red and I got past it, but even then, I don't know if I'd play it. And no foil. So this pack, I think, is pretty easy. The 2 cards I've put aside are Dragon Hunter and Coat with Venom, and we're not first picking Coat with Venom. So we're going to take Dragon Hunter and maybe go white weenie, red white, black white. We're going to go something aggressive with that. Definitely let me know what you would have taken from this pack. I always love hearing what other people think of the pack. I don't think that I'm always correct or anything like that. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, you can definitely let me know in the comments below. You can also find me on Twitter at @TheManaLeak. That's LEEK, like the vegetable, not the fruit, not the card. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/TheManaLeak. You've already found me here on YouTube. If you like the videos, you can click those little thumbs up icons. You can also subscribe to my channel. There's the subscribe button under the video, and there's one at the end of each video. That helps me reach more subscribers and lets you know every time a new video comes up. Otherwise, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you all next time.